For decades, North Korea has challenged the boundaries of what a small, isolated country can do on the world stage. It has tested long-range missiles, threatened its neighbors, and withdrawn from major international agreements. Its leadership speaks in terms that provoke alarm, and its actions often seem meant to trigger a response. Yet despite all of this, the regime remains untouched. This is not due to a lack of military capability among those who oppose it. The United States and its allies possess overwhelming firepower, advanced technology, and decades of preparation. South Korea, positioned directly across the border, has one of the most modern militaries in the region. But none of this has translated into direct confrontation, all because North Korea has prevented war by shaping its costs into something no country wants to bear. After watching what happened to other regimes that gave up their nuclear ambitions, the leadership in Pyongyang reached a conclusion that shapes its entire approach to security. It sees nuclear weapons as the one guarantee that it will not be attacked, and it has built that belief into its national strategy. North Korea has focused on building not only long-range missiles that could reach American cities, but also short-range systems designed for use in the Korean peninsula. These tactical weapons are meant to be launched quickly and close to home, giving battlefield commanders the ability to respond without waiting for orders from the very top. Even if most of the weapons were destroyed in a first strike, the possibility that one or two could be launched in response is enough to shift the balance. A single missile reaching Seoul, Tokyo, or a US base in the region would lead to enormous loss of life and immediate escalation. What makes this deterrent so effective is not its size or sophistication, but the simple fact that it introduces too many risks. No government wants to be responsible for triggering a chain of events it cannot control. Any discussion about North Korea and the threat of war has to begin with geography. Seoul, the capital of South Korea, sits just 35 miles away from the border. That distance is short enough for conventional artillery to reach the city within minutes. Unlike missiles that require launch sequences and tracking, artillery shells are harder to intercept and easier to fire in large numbers. This proximity places Seoul in constant danger, not from hypothetical weapons, but from tools the North already has in place and ready to use. For decades, North Korea has positioned thousands of artillery pieces near the border. Many are dug into mountain faces or placed in fortified bunkers that make them difficult to destroy quickly. Even though these weapons are aging and not always accurate, they do not need to be precise to be devastating. Their purpose is not targeted strikes on military installations, but wide-area bombardment that disrupts life, causes panic, and overwhelms emergency responses. In the early hours of a conflict, they would be aimed directly at one of the most densely populated urban regions in the world. South Korea has prepared for this possibility with advanced defenses, early warning systems, and hardened infrastructure. But no system can fully protect a city of over 20 million people from sustained artillery fire. Military exercises and simulations have shown that in a full-scale conflict, the first day could bring an unmanageable number of civilian casualties. Hospitals would be overloaded, transportation routes would collapse, and coordination across government services would be strained within hours. North Korea's military decisions may seem aggressive or erratic from the outside, but they are part of a long-standing approach rooted in survival. Everything from the placement of artillery to the development of nuclear weapons serves the same purpose: make the consequences of war unacceptable. By keeping its most dangerous assets just visible enough, North Korea ensures that global attention never fully shifts away. It tests missiles at a pace that signals capability without triggering direct retaliation. It displays military parades with a mix of real and decoy equipment. It maintains secrecy over the location of key installations while revealing just enough to make other nations cautious. Apart from the missiles, what other designs make North Korea so impenetrable? We're only halfway through. Hit subscribe if you're starting to see the bigger picture, and drop a comment with the power you think most nations still underestimate. For all its isolation, North Korea does not stand entirely alone. Its survival is tied in part to the calculations of its most powerful neighbor. China may not agree with the Kim regime's approach, but it has strong enough reasons for keeping North Korea intact. From Beijing's perspective, the greater risk is what would follow if the regime collapsed. The Korean Peninsula is one of the most sensitive regions in China's broader strategic map. If North Korea were to fall suddenly, millions of those refugees would likely surge across the border into northeastern China, overwhelming local infrastructure and triggering a humanitarian crisis. But even more concerning would be the possibility of U.S. or South Korean forces moving northward, filling the vacuum, and placing military assets directly along China's frontier. North Korea serves as a buffer. It separates China from direct contact with a U.S. allied state that hosts tens of thousands of American troops. Even if China finds the North unpredictable and at times frustrating, it still sees the value in preserving the current arrangement. Reunification under Seoul's terms would mean a shift in regional power that China is unwilling to accept. As North Korea's weapons programs advance and its threats grow more frequent, other nations have been forced to adjust. In South Korea, public support for developing domestic nuclear weapons has reached levels that would have been unthinkable a decade ago. Some lawmakers have called for open discussion about acquiring a deterrent of their own, even if it invites diplomatic consequences. Japan has responded in its own way, expanding its missile defense systems and increasing its coordination with the United States. Australia has strengthened its defense posture through new partnerships, and the Philippines has granted broader access to U.S. forces. For the United States specifically, they've kept their military presence in the region strong, maintaining tens of thousands of troops in South Korea and Japan, and positioning naval forces where they can respond quickly if needed. It continues to invest in missile interceptors, early warning systems, and joint exercises with its allies. North Korea has built a system that resists pressure by design. It has tied its survival to weapons that cannot be ignored, positioned its capital within reach of the South's population centers, and maintained just enough unpredictability to keep its enemies cautious. This isn't about taking sides, it's about seeing how power shapes decisions. If this made you think differently, go ahead, like and subscribe. What part of North Korea's strategy stood out to you? Let us know what you think in the comments, and don't forget to share this video everywhere it needs to be seen.